Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so glad you're here. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Today, we're taking a look at how Muslim Academy's structured online approach makes learning the Seerah, the life of Prophet Muhammad, super accessible and, honestly, deeply impactful. If you've ever felt like history is just this vast, overwhelming subject, well, today is all about bringing some much-needed clarity and focus to that experience.
So, how do historical events actually shape our modern spiritual resilience? It's a massive question. We so often think of history as just names and dates stuck in the past. But the material we're unpacking today flips that idea on its head. It shows us that understanding the Prophet's life isn't just some dry academic exercise. It's actually a direct, practical blueprint for your daily life, your decision-making, and even your emotional well-being right now. Here's our roadmap for the Explainer. We'll start with why we study the Seerah, then move into effective online learning approaches, look at the course structure and timeline, discuss overcoming learning challenges, and wrap up with outcomes and spiritual growth.
All right, Section 1. Why study the Seerah? Navigating faith in the modern world.
Because studying the Seerah is about way more than just memorizing facts. According to the curriculum at Muslim Academy, it's a highly practical guide. First off, it strengthens your faith and identity, giving you a really solid foundation of who you are. Second, it lets you apply prophetic teachings directly to your daily life. Think about that, using historical precedents to navigate today's everyday complexities. It also actively improves moral character and decision-making and builds emotional resilience. The big takeaway here is that this knowledge acts like an anchor in our fast-paced world, turning historical facts into real-time tools you can actually use. Moving right along to Section 2, Effective Online Learning Approaches, Finding Clarity Amidst Information Overload. Have you ever tried to learn a huge historical subject just by clicking around online or skimming random articles? If so, you know exactly what unstructured learning feels like. It's confusing, you get overloaded with information, and you end up with these glaring gaps in your understanding. It's super frustrating. But structured online programs, like the one Muslim Academy outlines, completely flip the script. They give you an organized timeline, steady progress you can actually measure, and continuous support from instructors. It's literally the difference between wandering around lost in a maze and following a clearly lit path. Building on that, this kind of online learning breaks down geographical barriers. That means global access to high-quality education no matter where you live. Plus, the flexible schedules are a lifesaver for modern lifestyles. Whether you're working full-time or you're a busy parent, you can just progress at your own pace without any of that typical classroom pressure. You can revisit lessons anytime if you need a refresher, and you've always got qualified instructors there to answer your questions and give immediate feedback. It's just an incredibly efficient way to learn.
That brings us to Section 3, Course Structure and Timeline, a logical path to understanding.
The core framework here relies on a clear, chronological flow, which is absolutely crucial for building trust and real understanding. You start at Era 1, the early life events. Once that foundation is solid, you transition smoothly into Era 2, covering key milestones in Islamic history. And finally, you reach Era 3, the final message delivery. By keeping it chronological, you build knowledge step by step. You don't get bogged down in confusing historical details because there's a logical progression. It totally prevents that overwhelmed feeling we just talked about. But here's the best part. It's not just a timeline of dates. Alongside that historical journey, the course extracts really valuable themes like patience, leadership, compassion, and faith. The sources point out that within each era of the Prophet's life, these themes are carefully drawn out so you can apply them to your own circumstances. It's this brilliant mix of chronological structure and thematic relevance that makes the material actually stick with you long after you log off. Okay, Section 4, Overcoming Common Learning Challenges, Strategies for Consistent Progress. To help dismantle those common roadblocks, the source material outlines a simple 3-step strategy. Step 1, set consistent study schedules to maintain discipline. This is a game changer for combating the inconsistency that derails so many self-learners. Step 2, use interactive learning to boost engagement. So instead of just staring at a textbook, you're actively participating with visuals and instructor guidance, which makes the historical context make so much more sense. And Step 3, review lessons regularly to strengthen retention. By following these steps, the course actively fights off the biggest learning hurdles out there. So you might be wondering, who is this actually for? Well, because the program scales so logically from the foundation up, it adapts to basically anyone.
The sources emphasize that absolutely no prior knowledge is required. Whether you're a total beginner starting from square one, an advanced student looking to go deeper, a parent wanting to introduce these concepts to your kids, or even an educator looking for reliable material, this structure meets you exactly where you are.
Finally, Section 5, Outcomes and Spiritual Growth, Beyond Academic Memorization. The program defines spiritual growth via the Seerah not as, acing a multiple-choice history test, but as increasing your love for the Prophet and actually internalizing values like patience and honesty to improve your real-world character. True spiritual growth is way beyond rote memorization. The program encourages you to take a pause after each lesson. It's all about forming a real emotional connection and taking a moment for behavioral reflection based on the structured lessons you just took.
So, what's the actual takeaway here? Well, yes, you walk away with a strong understanding of major historical events. But, more importantly, you develop the ability to connect those lessons directly to modern social situations. You get to enhance your critical thinking skills by reflecting on how historical decisions were made, and ultimately, you walk away with genuine confidence in applying Islamic values to the real world. This structured approach is what leads directly to that kind of profound personal development. To wrap up our explainer today, I want you to ask yourself this. We've seen how unstructured learning can hold us back, and how a clear, thematic approach can turn historical facts into modern spiritual resilience. So, are you ready to build a stronger connection with Islamic knowledge today?